No one expected a routine scrimmage to carry this much weight. What was supposed to be just another mock game for the Las Vegas Raiders turned into a loud, calculated message to the rest of the league. It wasn't merely a test run, it felt like a dress rehearsal for something far more serious. With Tom Brady watching from the sidelines and the stands packed with Raider Nation, this wasn't your typical August scrimmage. This was a controlled, competitive environment, one where lines between starters and backups blurred and the stakes looked more like week one than a tune-up. While all eyes were trained on the quarterback competition, something else was quietly unfolding, something more strategic. Geno Smith, wearing silver, didn't just take snaps, he orchestrated, he commanded. Behind the scenes, head coach Pete Carroll had clearly laid the groundwork for a trial-by-fire kind of performance, and Geno responded with poise. The offense didn't stumble in the rhythm, it struck with purpose. The structure of the scrimmage revealed everything. Geno led one team, while Aiden O'Connell and Cam Miller rotated for the other. But instead of a clear-cut starter versus backup format, the Raiders mixed and matched lineups deliberately. It was chaos with intent. Every formation, every matchup was a pressure test, designed to simulate high-stakes play and identify who could thrive when the spotlight intensified. And from the very first snap, it was clear something had changed. Geno Smith opened the game with a crisp, confident 7-yard throw to tight end Michael Mayer, and suddenly the atmosphere shifted. The offensive line snapped into formation, the pace accelerated. Geno didn't just look prepared, he looked at home. That opening drive saw him complete 7 of 10 passes for roughly 60 yards, finding 6 different targets, including rookie phenom Brock Bowers, Trey Tucker, Jakobi Meyers, Ashton Jeanty, and Dante Thornton Jr. It wasn't flash, it was control. Deliberate, decisive football, and it sent a clear message that Geno wasn't here to try out, he was here to take over. What made the performance more impressive was the personnel strategy behind it. Geno wasn't locked into throwing to a primary receiver. Instead, the Raiders spread the field with a deep, flexible roster of weapons. Tight ends split wide, slot receivers ran drag routes, running backs leaked into space. Every snap featured a different alignment, every read designed to expose mismatches. Geno's chemistry with Bowers in particular was undeniable. That opening drive ended in a touchdown to the rookie tight end. Not a lucky connection, but a carefully orchestrated finish. Then came the second drive, another touchdown. This time, a perfectly placed back shoulder throw to Bowers again. 2 drives, 2 scores, no fluke. Geno manipulated the defense with motion and cadence, diagnosing coverages with ease and punishing every soft spot in the zone. By the time most fans had settled in, the scoreboard read 14-0. But beneath the surface of Geno's sharp stat line was something even more telling. Brock Bowers wasn't just fitting into the offense, he was redefining it. From the moment he hauled in his second touchdown, it became clear the Raiders weren't interested in easing him in, they were unleashing him. Whether lined up in line or split wide, Bowers thrived in isolation, outsmarting defenders and dominating his matchups with composure and physicality. The Raiders didn't need to scheme him open, he created his own separation. Still, while Bowers stole the spotlight, Michael Mayer was doing the dirty work. His clutch grabs on key downs kept drives alive and gave Geno a dependable outlet when coverage tightened. Together, Bowers and Mayer formed a tight end duo that's built to create chaos for defenses. Their presence forced opponents into uncomfortable decisions: load the box and get beat over the top, or drop into coverage and leave running lanes exposed. This 12 personnel scheme was the product of Chip Kelly's tactical creativity, and it looked lethal. What truly stood out, though, was balance. Neither tight end needed volume to dominate. They simply executed with precision when their number was called. Geno trusted them both, and that trust translated into explosive, efficient football. If this is the floor of their chemistry, then the ceiling could reshape the AFC West. Just when it seemed like the offense couldn't miss, the defense made sure it wouldn't be outdone. Maxx Crosby, the emotional core of his unit, decided to shift the momentum with one violent, unforgettable play. On Aiden O'Connell's second drive, Crosby shot off the edge, stripped the ball clean, and returned it for a touchdown. In a scrimmage where most defenders would have eased up, Crosby went full throttle. That play didn't just kill a drive, it tilted the field, energized the crowd, and reminded everyone that defense wins games, even in August. Crosby's impact didn't happen in isolation. The Raiders' first-team defense looked sharp, fast, and relentless. Adam Butler, Jonah Lalu, and Malcolm Koonce brought constant interior pressure, while the linebacker core, featuring Elondo Roberts, Devin White, and Jermaine Pratt, set a physical tone early. They smothered short routes, closed rushing lanes, and refused to give Aiden O'Connell even a moment's comfort in the pocket. In the secondary, rookie corner Darian Porter and veteran Eric Stokes answered the call, challenging receivers and holding strong in one-on-one coverage. Jeremy Chinn, lining up in a hybrid nickel role, disguised coverage brilliantly and forced hesitation on pre-snap reads. This wasn't just the defense reacting, it was one dictating tempo. forcing the offense to adjust with every snap. The message was clear. The Raiders' defense wouldn't just complement the offense, it would compete with it. However, the defense's intensity came with a cost. During the scrimmage, Lonnie Johnson Jr. went down with a lower leg injury. It was a sobering moment. Johnson had been steadily climbing the depth chart, carving out a vital role in the secondary, and his absence leaves a gap that could shift the roster dynamics. Depth will now be tested, and decisions that once seemed routine will carry greater weight. Still, the show had to go on, and for the backup quarterbacks, it was a revealing moment. With Geno Smith on the sidelines after a dominant showing, the spotlight shifted to Aiden O'Connell and Cam Miller. O'Connell, expected to push for serious reps, struggled under the weight of a ferocious first-team defense. Despite decent protection at times, his rhythm faltered. His reads felt rushed. He couldn't stretch the field, and Chip Kelly's aggressive play designs were met with disciplined resistance from the secondary. The turning point came on that strip sack touchdown by Crosby, an exclamation point that underlined O'Connell's rough outing. Then came rookie Cam Miller, who didn't light up the stat sheet through the air, but found other ways to make his presence felt. On his first scoring drive, he kept the ball on an RPO and ran it in himself. It was instinctual, smart, and confident. His arm may still be developing, but his legs were decisive, and his situational awareness showed potential. Later, he'd engineer another drive, again finishing with a rushing touchdown that evened the scrimmage. But here's the key distinction. While Miller's numbers stood out, they came against second and third string defenders. O'Connell was battling starters. It wasn't a level playing field, and the coaching staff knew it. This scrimmage wasn't about stats. It was about stress tests. They weren't just evaluating quarterback performance, they were evaluating how those quarterbacks responded to pressure, both in-game and situationally. That contrast could play a critical role in determining who ultimately backs up Geno, especially as the preseason schedule intensifies. Still, it wasn't just the quarterbacks battling for position. A handful of lesser-known names seized their moment, and in doing so, changed the trajectory of their own roster futures. Greedy Vance, an undrafted rookie corner, made the kind of impression that forces difficult decisions. His physicality and a crucial pass breakup stood out in a secondary already rich in talent. He didn't play like a camp body, he played like a man trying to take someone's job. In the backfield, Ashton Jeanty emerged as more than just a depth option. His route running, reliable hands, and versatility hinted at a Swiss Army knife roll. Jeanty didn't just look like a running back, he looked like a weapon. Given how often Kelly deployed him in motion and split him out wide, it's clear the coaching staff is already scheming ways to keep him on the field. Rookie wideout Dante Thornton Jr. made another strong case for himself as well. He brought deep threat consistency and scored yet another touchdown, showcasing speed and body control that's tough to teach. He's starting to look like a vertical weapon who could carve out a real role by September. Up front, offensive linemen Jackson Powers Johnson and Jordan Meredith are quietly locking down starting positions. Their discipline in pass protection and ability to anchor against blitzes gave Geno the pocket security needed to stay in rhythm. In a camp that's often dominated by skill positions, their reliability stood out as one of the most valuable assets for this offense moving forward. Now the questions shift from camp hype to real possibility. Was this just an organized, intense practice, or the first glimpse of something bigger? The Raiders didn't just look prepared, they looked layered, deep, dangerous. Geno Smith brought control, Brock Bowers brought fire, and the defense, led by Max Crosby, brought teeth. The injuries will test their depth. The quarterback battle is far from settled, but this team, once written off in preseason chatter, just sent a very real message. They're no longer rebuilding, they're reloading. As Raider Nation prepares for the upcoming showdown with the Seahawks, one thing is certain. If this is what August looks like, the rest of the league better brace for September.